Chuckloaf here with another edition, 1200 Films Podcast, trying to set the Guinness World Record, yada yada, etc., etc. Of films watched in a calendar year and reviewing all of them. I say, hey, if Guinness doesn't recognize that I've watched the most movies, then I'll at least get the record for most reviews, movie reviews in a calendar year, right? I get something. But this is the special Jedi Edition, as later I will be reviewing Star Wars The Last Jedi. So look forward to that. Correction I need to make from the last episode. I mentioned a Wesley Snipes movie, and I never gave the title or the number. The title of the film was called The Recall, and that was number 289. So I just got to cover my grounds. But yeah, let's get going on this list, starting with 308, The Darkest. This it's got some subtitles, so get ready for that. It's yet another movie about an aborted fetus coming back to haunt the parents, or parent. This time, it haunts both parents. They're going on this camping trip, and they get lost, and then they end up getting haunted by a 9-year-old boy, which turns out to be the boy they would have had if the woman not have had an abortion. Of course, the guy didn't know about it. She kind of kept it secret, but not a horrible film. The Darkest. 309, Sam Worthington, an assassin that can't do his job. He was supposed to hire to kill this little girl, and he doesn't want to be known as the guy that killed the little girl, so he befriends the little girl and helps her escape being murdered. Because the bunch of hitmen tried to kill the whole girl's family, and Worthington was hired to kill the girl to finish off the family, but he wouldn't do it. Mediocre. 310, The Dark. Sean Bean from Game of Thrones. He plays the father of this girl, and the mother and the daughter are going to visit their dad in this Irish countryside with his vicious little rocks and waves. And the daughter goes missing. So they do this big hunt to go find her, and they eventually find her, but she comes back a little different. And they spend the rest of the movie trying to figure out what's exactly going on and why is she being so weird all of a sudden. And kind of reminded me of The Ring. But as far as the movie, there's all these sheep in the movie. The guy was a sheep hunter, and I think the sheep are more scarier than anything else in this movie, but I got through it. 311, Insidious, The Last Key, finally got this in. And once again, we're kind of let down. The first Insidious was so unbelievably amazing, and the rest have just kind of been filler. I figured with the finale they would go all out, but no, nothing paint-by-numbers, scary, modern-day scary movie. Not everything can be Don't Breathe. But, yeah, just another movie. 312, Daniel Radcliffe, Beast of Burden. This is my 9th Daniel Radcliffe movie of the countdown. Some Jedi music in the background. Hope you enjoy that. But this is my 9th Daniel Radcliffe movie because I watched 7 Harry Potters, and then I watched The Jungle, and now this one. He's probably spent the entire filming of this movie in a little simulator, flying around in a little plane, because that's all he did. He was hired by these drug guys to run drugs over the border, I guess, but he was also working for the United States, trying to bring these drug guys down, so he was, kind of a double agent. But things, of course, go awry, and people start getting picked off, and he doesn't really understand what's going on, and of course there was always problems with the plane, but nothing special, really. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it. 313, Legend, not the 80s movie with Tom Cruise. This is a current movie with Tom Hardy. He plays twins, Reggie and Ronald Cray, two of Britain's most violent known gangsters. There was a love story in this that was so bad. So boring, so dull, so typical, so standard. But everything else about it was interesting, because they were ruthless. You cross them, they will mess you up. But, yeah. Yeah, okay, except for the love stuff. Yeah. 314 Anesthesia. I guess that's how you Anesthesia. Several stories going on. Kristen Stewart's in one of them, and the guy from The Strains in another, and several stories that all lead up kind of to one thing. This was garbage. Sad people with sad music behind it. It was sad lives, and if you watch the trailer, you'll see all you need to know about this. Yeah, Void. 315 Dredd, the 2012 version, not the Stallone version. This version was very good. I was impressed. There's another movie I watched on this countdown called Raid Redemption, which is a very, very violent foreign film, which is pretty much the exact same movie, but both well done. He's kind of stuck in this giant building because it's all sectioned off, and he kind of has to work his way to the top to kill the main drug woman. But yeah, very well made. If there's any sequels, I will watch. Alright, where are we? That was 315. We're on 316. Rudderless almost made my top 5. Definitely my top 10. The dad is mourning the loss of his son who was killed in a mass school shooting. And then he discovers that his kid had wrote all these wonderful songs. So the dad starts to sing all these wonderful songs at open mic night and starts to get a little bit of a following. And then he forms a band, and then he gets fans coming to his shows, and then there's a twist. There's a crazy twist, and I can't say it, even though I want to, but the twist is amazing. It makes the film to a 5 to a 10. Directed by William H. Macy, who did a great job, also appeared. Anton Yelchin, one of his final films, very good film. So when I saw it was one of his final movies, I said, I need to watch his other final films. That was a mistake, because I'll be reviewing them shortly. They're coming up immediately here, pretty soon. Men, Women, and Children, 317. Boy, kids nowadays, wow, it's got the kid from Baby Driver. He's one of the. This another one with several different stories going on that kind of leads up to one thing. But one of the girls runs this website that's basically set out for pedophiles, and this other one plays video games every second of every day, and once that all is taken away, these kids lose their minds. But Adam Sandler had a part in this. It's one of the better things he's done in a while. I was impressed to see his performance. But yet, not a horrible film. You can find this free on Vudu. VUDU, if you got that channel. 318. We Don't Belong Here. Anton Yelchin's final film. And boy, he couldn't have picked anything worse than this. Things would happen, okay, and then in the next scene, it didn't happen. So you're wondering, is this jumping around in time, or is this like alternate realities, or what's going on? And then you realize it didn't matter. And then a half hour in, you start looking around the room you're in and thinking, should I do laundry on Monday or Tuesday? Because you're so bored, because this movie's so stupid. And then another 10 minutes, you're thinking, I should definitely do laundry on Monday, because Tuesday is trash day, and I don't want to, overwhelm myself. But yeah, sad but forgettable final film of Anton Yelchin. We're at 319, Red Knot. Another one where I'm completely lost. This newlywed couple goes on this honeymoon to Antarctica, because there's no place more romantic than the coldest place on the planet. And the guy's having regrets, and it seemed like he's looking for something out there, but they never explained what. They didn't explain a lot of things. But this movie's basically just there for the nice scenery. That's pretty much what it is. It's like a tourist video. Just ignore the movie part and just watch the scenes. So yeah. 320. Porto. Another one of Anton Yelchin's final movies. It's kind of a slow, repetitive love story, but it's not the worst film, I guess. Kind of... it's told in 3 parts, and the first part is story of their life through her eyes, then through the boyfriend's eyes in the second part, and then I guess the third part was like what actually happened. So that was kind of interesting storytelling, but other than that, nothing special. 321. Crooked House. This was fun. This rich man dies, and his daughter hires a private investigator to come to the house, this giant mansion where the whole family lives, to investigate to see if he was murdered, because she thinks something happened. And so the investigator kind of works his way, meddles his way into the family, and kind of is interrogating everybody to figure out what's going on. It's very interesting. The first half is so slow, but it makes up for it in the second half. Glenn Close was in this. She was very good. And this also had an ending I did not see coming. So, points there. 322, November, Criminals. Another one with the kid from Baby Driver. I should learn his name. Someday I will. But this is a good movie. His buddy was gunned down in a donut shop. And he was kind of disappointed at how little the cops would try to figure out what was going on. So he kind of took it upon himself to be the investigator and to start digging into what was happening and why his buddy was shot for what he thought was no reason. And then, of course, the further he digs, the more he finds out what was kind of going on. But yes, a very interesting, well-made movie. 323, Ghostkeeper. If you've ever seen the Wrong Turn movies, that's exactly what this is, but it's set in the early 80s. So it's kind of like the Wrong Turn of the 80s. These 4 snowmobilers are traveling around this mountain, and then this snow comes. Oh, there was 3 of them. Was it 4? No, it was 3. It was 3. And they're snowmobiling around, and the storm comes, so they have to stay at this little lodge that hasn't been used in years and years and years and years and years. And there's this old woman there, and she's kind of creepy, and then she has this kid that lives there, and then there's this thing in the basement. They never really explained what was with the thing in the basement, which was kind of the downfall of the movie. That's what I wanted to know. I don't care about the worthless woman. But still not horrible. It's as good as any of the Wrong Turn movies. 324, Beyond Skyline. A not horrible sequel to Skyline, the alien invasion movie. I think this is basically not really a sequel, but it's what else happened during that initial alien invasion. So you get a different perspective of basically the same thing. And this kind of goes more in depth to the aliens and their purpose, and why they're there. But the second half kind of falls apart, but it's overall not bad. It's kind of low budget. 325, Wrecker. This movie's been made 1,000 times, where someone driving around, they cut off a semi-truck, and then the semi-truck driver goes crazy and starts trying to drive the little car off the road. This has been done 1,000 times. Stephen King's covered this. There's tons of 80s movies like this. This was a more recent one, but it wasn't any better or worse or any different than those ones. Nothing special. 326, Moonwalkers. This was fun. Ron Perlman. And the ginger from Harry Potter. I know, he's getting roles. Great. Starring Moonwalkers here. It's kind of complicated, but the ginger, he kind of sneaks his way into taking the job of faking the moon landing just in case the moon landing doesn't happen. He got set in the 60s. So that's just kind of his job, and Ron Perlman was accidentally hired the wrong guy. It was supposed to be the Ginger's brother-in-law or something like that, and so so it kind of becomes a comedy of errors, I guess, but turned out very well. It's also on Netflix now if you want to check it out. 327 Money Monster, directed by Jodie Foster. Did an excellent little job here. Nice little George Clooney thriller. This guy sneaks into the set of Money Monster, which is like a CNN Where to Invest Your Money show, which there are more and more over a C-SPAN or something like that. But he kind of infiltrates the show and kind of blames George Clooney and wants answers of why his money disappeared. And he's got a bomb with him, and yeah. So Julia Roberts also popped up in this, and she was very good too. But, yep, nice little thriller. 327. 328. Excuse me, Bryan Cranston. Back again. I know. This time he's in The Infiltrator, based on a true story set in the 80s of a guy that had to infiltrate one of the main drug lords. He went out of his way, in a long way, to go to befriending them and kind of accepting them into his little fake family so they could then arrest them. And he got in some really sticky situations, but yeah, interesting film. And here we go. 329, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. The best thing I can say about this movie is Mark Hamill is so good. I hope he gets more roles out of this. I hope he doesn't just stop and tries to say, well, I went out on top. You know, I got top billing on this. And I think he could be a really good character actor if that's what he chose to do or whatever he decides to do. He didn't really do much after his initial Star Wars fame, except a couple of B sci-fi movies and that car wash movie. But yeah, he was really, really good. I felt a little cheated with the fight scene, the Skywalker versus new Darth Vader. But if you watch it, you'll understand. But other than that, I can't really find a whole lot to complain about this movie. It wasn't too long, even though it was kind of long, but it didn't have any slow, boring parts. There was nothing really dragging it down. It's like, wow. I think maybe they should erase episode 1, 2, and 3 and just maybe redo those. But that probably will never, ever happen because they're already made. So, but yeah, highly recommend. Love, love, love. Star Wars Episode 8. My throat is going dry. I've watched more movies I could review, but I think we're going to call it quits here. So I will see you next time.